Hey, what's happening, everybody? John here with Damn Straight Media and another episode of Damn Straight Media Live, the podcast. How you guys doing? I'm glad you're out here with me today. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. We got a great show today. We're going to be talking about New Jersey, state of New Jersey. We all know that the election scandal that broke on the 21st. Well, there's more to it now. There's more to it, but on the 21st, we all know that it was revealed. Now, this is according to Mickey Sherrill, the new governor of the state of New Jersey. I think she's 6 months in right now. I feel kind of bad for her, even though she's a flaming liberal, because she's the one that's taking the heat for this issue, or the issues that are being exposed now. Have obviously been there for quite a while, but we all know that on the 21st, she claimed that it was a serious software error that allowed approximately 6,600 people, non-citizens, illegal aliens in the state of New Jersey, to be added to the voter rolls, and some of them even voted. So the DOJ has now opened up an investigation into this. Into the state of New Jersey over the ERIC system. That's what it is, the ERIC system, ERIC, and to find out how it actually happened to 6,600 illegal alien voters, the registration discrepancy. Did you notice, anytime something like this happens, it's always it's a major software error. Major software error that allowed all of these illegals. The error didn't affect any of the legal residents. It just affected the illegal non-residents to be added to the voter rolls for the Democrat Party. Isn't it funny how that works? It's just fucking mind-blowing, isn't it? Oh my God, it's just whatever. It's such bullshit. It really is. But the DOJ is going to look into it. To see if there was anything untoward done, or any kind of fraud that was done, or if it was really just a huge software error. Now we are fast forward here to yesterday. Shocking. 75,000. This is amazing. This is yearly now in the state of New Jersey, the Garden State. 75,000 non-citizens are summoned for jury duty in Jersey every year. Now, jury duty, all of those names are pulled from the voter rolls. So now you've got 6,600 originally, and now all of a sudden they're pulling 75,000 a year to come in for jury duty. How many of those non-citizens actually were allowed to sit on juries? And if that's the case, if they did, does that mean that all of these cases that they sat on, that they either convicted or did not convict, does that mean all of those cases have to be thrown out? I mean, these are non-legal citizens that are sitting on a jury. Does that disqualify the guilty, non-guilty verdict? Amazing. This is unbelievable. Again, I feel sorry for Mickey Sherrill. I really do, because this is falling right in her lap. But let's see here. I'm going to read some of this report. This came from the Gateway Pundit. Approximately 75,000 non-citizens are summoned for jury duty in the Garden State every year, according to newly disclosed figures from the New Jersey judiciary. Folks, the New Jersey Globe reported that New Jersey processes more than 1 million jury summonses annually using records randomly selected from 3 state agencies: the Division of Election, Division of Taxation, and the Motor Vehicle Commission. Peter McAleer, a spokesman for the New Jersey Administration Office of the court, said roughly 20% of respondents report that they fail to meet at least one statutory eligibility requirement. Approximately 1/4 of those disqualifications on average of roughly 75,000 people annually over the past 3 years were because the recipient was not a U.S. citizen. So if they weren't a U.S. citizen, they were not a Jersey citizen, even though they may have been living there illegally. Prospective jurors are asked about their citizenship and other qualifications when they compete or when they complete the mandatory jury disqualification questionnaire. Those who advance are reminded of the eligibility requirements during jury orientation and are directly questioned about their citizenship during jury selection by the judge and as permitted the attorneys. Now, folks, it's all going to depend, though. If they're doing jury selection, you know what I mean? Look at the corruption within the judiciary. Look at these judges, these leftist judges. Are you kidding me? They'd love to have these illegals sitting on juries. You can, they're, in many cases, state judges, they're not going to stop it. They're not going to stop it. The attorney would love to have some illegals on there. Are you kidding? What a joke, really. Officials say there's no evidence, of course, that non-citizens have served on juries since the additional safeguards were implemented. Yeah, no, there's no evidence. Right, okay. But that does not explain why approximately 75,000 non-citizens are being swept into the jury summons process every year. It also raises serious questions about the reliability of government databases used to administer elections and jury selection. Folks, if they're pulling from voter rolls, which it did say that they are among what they had 3 sources, voter rolls, what was it, the DMV, and what the hell was the other one? Let me see here. Hang on a second. Division of Taxation, that was it, yeah. So, you know damn well that the voter rolls are being inflated with illegals. That goes anywhere, any state in the nation right now. It doesn't matter, red state, blue state. Look at how many people, how many illegal aliens were flown into the interior of the country, especially red states, to try to flip them blue. The Biden administration was doing that on a regular basis during the, I call it the Biden administration. I also call it the deep state administration because that's really what it was. It was a deep state administration. The Gateway Pundit previously reported Democrat Governor Mickey Sherrill recently admitted that a serious software error in the state's motor vehicle system resulted in approximately 6,600 people who explicitly indicated they were not American citizens being registered to vote between June 2023 and June 2024, so within a 1-year span. According to Sherrill, fewer than 400 of those improperly registered individuals subsequently voted. Well, the DOJ is going to look into it now. Anyway, the state of New Jersey, that whole scandal is exploding big time. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the DOJ investigation. Whether or not, if anything comes out of it, probably not. Who the hell knows? Next up, we're going to talk about China Joe. Joe Biden, there he is. China Joe. Yes, sir. China Joe. It appears, if you guys recall, Trump had his speech on election integrity back about a week or so ago in front of the nation. And he claimed that, called out China on the spot, that China was involved in the 2020 election fraud. Now, what I have, I'm going to show you right now. This is a fraudulent ballot that was printed in China and shipped over here to the United States. Here it is. Official general election ballot, November 3rd, 2020, Charlotte County, Florida. This is a fake counterfeit ballot that was printed in China and sent here to the United States. Yes, sir. Now, what I have here is a video. And I'm going to share the audio with you. The audio is in Chinese, but I have a transcript of what the conversation actually says here. And I'm going to, once we go through this, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this first. And then I can have you listen to the audio on it. So the ballots printing company, the guy on the phone says, no problem. How many pieces to print if payment is good? The customer says these are different paper, so requires different ink. The ballots printing company, no problem at all, he says. The customer, this is a massive bulk order. Is it okay to deliver? The ballot printing company, more days are needed. Customer, can you ship internationally? Ballots printing company, sure, it will be shipped by an international shipping company. Customer, how much does it cost to print one piece? Ballot printing company, the same as I told you before. And then the customer says, okay. I have to shut off my phone. I forgot to do that again. God, I hate it when I forget to do stuff like that. Just, it's the little details, ladies and gentlemen. It's always the little details. You know what I mean? And you just, whatever. I forgot to do it. But anyway, again, there's the ballot. There it is. And I'm gonna run the video for you real quick. Here we go.
对啊，因为你仔细看一下，它那个选票的那个印刷是不一样的。
那个没关系，我会看着那个电缆来做这边。
然后到时候你们这边放物流的话怎么发？因为我这边订的话就是大量的订。
大量订那个发物流的话，一般好像也要好几天物流比较慢。
发国际可以吗？
我看一下，国际好像也是走物流啊。
可以走是吧？你这边费用的话多少钱打印转？我这边现在照着给你转。
那个跟上次一样。
OK， 好，我知道。你再把二维码发我一点，谢谢。
然后那个还欠一点。
知道。OK， 好。
Watch more.
So there you have it. Now the video goes on it's a 10-minute long video. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but you get the gist of it. This is all real stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So now we know that China was actually running in the background. They were running a printing operation to create more ballots. Do you guys recall? And I mentioned this in another podcast. If you guys recall, there was a New York State truck driver. He was driving from New York State. It was a semi, a Class A CDL semi that was filled with election ballots. Now, according to him, if I'm not mistaken, these particular ballots were already filled out. They were already filled out. He had an entire truck filled with these things. This is going back to 2020, just before the election, and he drove from New York State, which makes sense now. New York State obviously was not a swing state. Now, if these ballots that were printed, you heard the video, and I transcribed it for you, if they were printed in China and shipped to New York, to the port of New York, which makes sense, this guy would have picked them up in New York and driven them to the swing state of Pennsylvania. Now, he reported what happened. The driver did. He reported this because it just didn't smell right. And who was it that shut down the investigation? None other than Bill Barr, the Attorney General under Donald Trump. He shut down the entire investigation. Remember, Bill Barr is also the Attorney General who sat down with Fani Willis in Atlanta to create the RICO case against President Trump. He was in on it. Folks, there is no question now. And why the fuck why has nobody been arrested for this stuff? Why? Why? Where did these ballots come from? Where the hell did they go? Obviously to Pennsylvania. But did that entire truck stay in Pennsylvania, or did they wind up breaking up those ballots and shipping them to other states, other blue states, or not blue states, swing states, I guess you could call it. Carolina, where else? Ohio, Georgia, probably Georgia, Eastern Seaboard, I would imagine. But Bill Barr is the one that shut down the investigation into this thing. So this is according to this came out on X, and Gateway Pundit is vindicated. CCP whistleblower, 1.5 million fake 2020 ballots printed in communist China. Yep. Vindication. It was reported in 2025 that the FBI had information on a Chinese plot to infiltrate the U.S. elections, and the FBI covered it up. Now Kash Patel wants an explanation. Let's see here. New transparency reveals by FBI Director Kash Patel and FBI Deputy Director Bongino, he's no longer there, show Chris Wray's FBI compiled intelligence on a China plot to create fake IDs for illegal mail-in ballots for Biden. Then CBP intercepted 20,000 fake IDs in Pritzker's Chicago. Then FBI ordered intelligence destroyed. Unbelievable, folks. Fucking kidding me? There's more. Let's see here. FBI gives Congress intel on alleged Chinese plot to create fake mail-in ballots. Newly classified intelligence report partially corroborated, but was recalled before it could be fully investigated, officials say. Now, you guys remember, like I said at the beginning of this segment here, that Donald Trump just last week during his speech called China out directly. Of course, Chairman Xi Jinping, or whatever the hell his name is, came out and said, "Oh yeah, there's no truth to any of that." Well, now we know. I mean, there's no question China was involved. And now, folks, don't forget that Joe Biden took millions in personal money from China. Millions of dollars. That has been proven. Whether or not it was investigated is irrelevant, because we know that the FBI under Joe Biden, under the deep state, is not going to investigate this stuff. No. That's their guy. They're not going to investigate it. Look at all of this shit they've covered up for him. You think they're going to investigate this? No way. 20,000 IDs, fake IDs, found in Illinois. Of course, I just mentioned the truck driver from New York to PA. Ballots already filled out. Bill Barr shut down the investigation. Bill Barr shut down every investigation that would have exposed it, because Bill Barr is working for the left. He's not a Republican. He really isn't. One thing that I want to bring up too, and I have written about this on Substack before, the communist work ethic. Folks, these fucking people will do anything to win. Anything. They'll cheat, lie, beg, steal. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Communists, socialists, the Democrat Party, they will do anything to win an election. And I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the show today, the last segment is on the DNC. Oh, God. Everybody thinks that it just goes to show you how much propaganda is out there for the left. Everybody wants you to believe that Trump, his days are numbered, that he's after the midterms, that he is going to be a lame duck president. He's going to get impeached. He's going to get thrown out of office and all that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, the communist these people are going to have to work extra hard, because we're going to talk about today how broke the Democratic National Committee is right now. They have nothing. They are $2 million in the red. And they are on the verge of putting up the DNC headquarters for a paltry $15 million loan. Folks, the DNC, the Democrat Party as a whole, is fucked. They're fucked. They're completely screwed, and they want all of us to believe that the midterm elections are going to be a shoo-in for the Democrat Party. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. But we're going to talk about that as the last segment of the show, because I added that this morning because folks, that's a big deal. This is a big deal. Unbelievable. The DNC, the chairman of the DNC is Ken Martin. Has been having these massive, violent outbreaks and stuff. We're gonna talk about all of it. Next up, just to go back to the China thing. Anybody who believes that China was not involved in the fraudulent election of 2020 needs to have their head examined. The Democrat Party, we all know, is going to come out against it. They're all going to come out and say, oh, there was no fraud in the 2020 election. Apparently, the only people who are guilty or capable of fraud are Republicans, Donald Trump, of course, and that's with the midterms. The midterms, they're setting this up. They're teeing this whole thing up for the midterms right now. I think the Democrat National Committee, the Democrat Party as a whole, realizes that Donald Trump is going to kick the shit out of these guys. The conservative movement is going to crush the Democrat Party, and they are teeing it up to make it look as if Donald Trump rigged the election. It's such bullshit. Anyway, more news. Tony Romo was at a golf tournament up in Milwaukee. There he is. This is his mugshot from last week. I think it was Thursday. Is it me, or is he smiling in this picture, or does he always just have that Joker looking face? Doesn't he? Looks. I mean, if you put some paint on that face, you could make him look like Jack in Batman. Remember the Joker? Look at him. Is he really smiling for this fucking thing? He just got arrested for DWI on Thursday, and here he is with a shit-eating grin. Look at him. Unbelievable. And I don't know if he's smiling. Does he always look like that? Honestly, is he that ugly? Really? And look at his hair. He must have been wearing a hat all freaking day. Wow. Unreal. He looks like he got some sun, definitely. Either that or he's got a drinking problem. He's got the pink face there, you've seen it. Alcoholics have that kind of pink hue, Anyway, he looks terrible. I don't know how much he had to drink, but he was at a golf tournament up there. And from what I understand, the report says, let me see here. The report said that he was 35 strokes over par. He performed so poorly. Here's the report. One of the NFL's most recognizable faces and voices has found himself in a bit of trouble. Multiple reports. Former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro quarterback Tony Romo was arrested Thursday night. That's last Thursday. Romo was apprehended in Milwaukee for allegedly driving while intoxicated. Romo was reportedly stopped on a highway, and when asked to do a number of field sobriety tests, he performed poorly. Do you want to know something, folks? Did you guys realize this? You are not obligated. If you get pulled over, not that I'm trying to help you get out of alcohol-related driving, you should, folks. With Uber, there's really no excuse anymore for anybody to be drinking and driving. But did you know that legally, you do not have to perform any of those sobriety tests for the police if you do not want to? No, you don't have to. You don't have to. If they say, we're going to do some sobriety tests, you tell them, nope, I'm not doing anything unless I have an attorney present. As a matter of fact, you don't have to answer any questions. You can very politely tell the officer, I am exercising my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution to refuse any questions unless I have an attorney present. So please don't ask. I'm not going to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much. Don't be a jerk, but he did not have to get out of his car and do this stuff. Legally, he does not have to. According to the Associated Press, Romo has some ties to the area as he went to high school nearby in Wisconsin. So he is from Wisconsin, or he lived in Wisconsin. I don't know if he's actually from there originally, but that's where he went to high school. He was taken into custody, booked, and released with his mugshot going viral on social media. God, I got to look at that again. Oh my God, look at him. He looks horrible. I wonder, is he really smiling, or is that just the way he looks? I'd have to look at other photographs. I really would. I think that's just kind of the way he looks. The arrest appears to have been the topper of an otherwise bad day for Romo. I read somewhere, where the hell? Yeah, here it is. It was a rough day on the links, to say the least. The four-time NFL Pro Bowler finished 35 over par, which certainly isn't good by any real golfing metric. It's no wonder he was drunk. Hell, and I suck at golf, but if I played that badly, folks, I haven't had a drink in 9 goddamn years, but if I played that badly, I'd probably go drown myself in a bottle of bourbon. Now, I don't know. We all know that he has. He gets paid by Corona for a big endorsement. I don't know how big the dollar amount is, but I've heard that Corona is seriously considering breaking ties with him over this, and it's not because of the DUI. It's because apparently, because he was in Milwaukee, he was drinking Milwaukee's best beer instead of Corona. I'm kidding. What was he drinking? Was he drinking Corona? I mean, if you're making millions on Corona, dude, you better be drinking Corona. You better get pulled over with a Corona in your hand and a lime in that bottle. That's right. And you know what? He should have had the Corona bottle with the mugshot. You kidding? You know, with that smile, whatever that is. Anyway, there is good news in all of this, being that he is a former NFL player, a higher end former NFL player. At the very least, this was only a DUI. He did not actually beat up his wife, so that's a good thing. He didn't beat his wife, but he did get a DWI or DUI, however you want to call it. On a serious note, ladies and gentlemen, I have dealt personally in my family, not me personally, but my family, with alcoholism, and it sucks. Addiction of any kind really does suck, and I hope that Tony Romo does not have an alcohol problem, a drinking problem. I really do. I hope. I don't wish that on anybody, even my worst enemy. I do not wish any kind of addiction, especially alcoholism. The thing about alcohol too, with regard to addiction, it's so readily available. That's the biggest problem with it. I quit 9 years ago. I haven't had a drink, and I used to be a bourbon drinker. I used to like to drink really high-end bourbon, the good stuff. But because of alcoholism in my family, I made the decision 9 years ago to stop drinking, and I have not had a drink. I do miss the taste of good bourbon. I don't miss the hangovers, though. Oh, God. I was a 3-4 day hangover guy. Oh, I was such a pussy. I just can't handle it. Oh, my God. I just felt like shit for 3 or 4 days. And then, the thing is, the older that I get, the older I got, the worse the hangover got. It used to be I was good back in my 20s. I could go out and drink all night, have a good time, wake up the next day and just, kind of shrug it off afternoon. And, I'm good to go. Let's go out again, But as I gotten older, they just got more and more painful, and just I don't even like to think about hangovers. It just makes me sick. I have one story I'll tell you real quick, and then we're going to move on to the DNC thing here. I was out in Hartford, Connecticut at my in-laws, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. This is going back probably around 2010, so 16 years or so. And I had bought a bottle of Knob Creek bourbon. This was during Halloween. We went out there because they had a huge street party for Halloween every year on my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's street. So my wife and I went down and just had a great time. And I drank that whole bottle of Knob Creek to myself, with the exception of one glass, a small glass that I shared with one of the guys there. He said, "Would you mind if I have some of that Knob Creek?" I said, "Yeah, help yourself." So he poured some on ice. The rest of it went right down the hatch here. Now, folks, I got drunk that night. I mean, I was hammered. I was having a great time, though. I had all kinds of new friends. I told everybody I'm selling my house in Rochester, New York, and I'm moving to Connecticut because I love all of you. I mean, that's how it was, just so deep and just so, I just did. I wanted to move to Connecticut. I just loved all of them, my new friends. So I went back over to my in-laws' house, and I passed out on the leather couch at about, I got it probably 2:30 in the morning. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm lucky to be alive, because I wound up with alcohol poisoning. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. The next day, we had my nephew had a football game. So my wife is standing over me. I'm laying on the couch, and everybody's waking up. And she says, "You got to get up. We got to go to the football game." I said, "No, I can't go." She goes, "Get your ass off that couch right now. Get up. You're going." Oh, fuck. This is not good. So I get up off the couch. I go in. I had to pee. I remember so bad. I had to pee so freaking bad. So bad. And then I walked into the kitchen afterwards, and I grabbed the banana, and I ate the banana. Right? Now, we get in the car. We're on our way to the game. There's a young girl sitting in the back seat, just probably 10 years old. She's one of the cheerleaders, right? I'm sitting next to her. She's over here. I'm over here. My sister-in-law, Kelly, drives like a fucking maniac. I mean, like a maniac. She's nuts. And I'm just sloshing back and forth, and I'm going, oh, God, no, this is not happening. I'm going to get sick. I told Kelly, I said, "You got to pull over right now." She goes, "Okay, give me a minute." I said, "No. You either pull over now, or all of this is going to wind up in your back seat. And I don't want to get on the little girl here." She's like, okay. So she pulled into a parking lot. I get out, and I am throwing up behind the car. I got freaking cars driving down the road honking their horn at me. Oh, my God. It was so bad. I got so sick. After the football game, we drove back home to Rochester, and it was one of the worst rides of my entire life. Now, I thought I had, actually, because this lasted several days, but I thought I had a stomach virus of some sort, but that was not the case. Because I went to see a doctor, and he told me, he says, he said, "If you were drinking the way that you said you were drinking," he said, "you had alcohol poisoning." He says, "You don't have a virus or anything." He said, "Your body is just recouping from the damage that you did to it." So, folks, it was bad. It was a really, really bad. I had such a great time that night, though. But, God, the next day, I just wanted to die. It was terrible. Very, very painful hangover. Anyway, Tony Romo, I wish you well. I pray for you that you don't have a drinking problem. I hope you don't. And even if you do, you should have called Uber. You should have. There's no excuse. Call an Uber. Don't get behind the wheel, because not only do you put yourself in danger, but you put all of those other people who are on the road with you in danger. If you have people in your car, you put them in danger. You shouldn't do it. All right, here we go. Last up, ladies and gentlemen, the DNC, the Democrat Party as a whole, is completely screwed. They're broke. They're broke. Here he is, the one and only Ken Martin, the chair of the DNC, the violent one. New York Times broke this story. Can you imagine, folks? The New York Times broke this story. Why would the gray lady, the far left newspaper, break this story? Why? The report says here, while conventional wisdom suggests that the Democrat Party is well on its way to winning the midterms, a stunning report from a notorious far-left paper suggests quite a different story. The New York Times broke a colorful story this morning detailing the absolute dire straits the DNC finds itself in. Per the Times, President Trump has a $400 million super PAC, and the Republican National Committee is sitting on $130 million. The DNC, however, is $2 million in the red right now. Not only are the DNC and its allies so far behind the GOP when it comes to money, but the problem is so severe that they don't want any bills from vendors, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a vendor for the DNC, I would run. I wouldn't do any business with them. I wouldn't help them at all. Because I'll guarantee it, what's going to happen come November, the midterms? They don't want any invoices until after the election. Good luck getting fucking paid. If you do business with these idiots, you're on your own. You're on your own. Don't plan on getting paid. And there's more to this story, too. At the center of it all, the foul-mouthed chair, Ken Martin, he's having one meltdown after another. He threw a phone at one of his junior aides while berating the poor individual. Of course, the poor individual is a leftist, so he probably got off on it. I'm sure he probably enjoyed it. Oh, yeah, spank me harder. Hit me with that phone. The New York Times, here we go. The Democrat Party is so short on cash that leaders at its headquarters have undertaken a new gambit to mask the severity of the problems, asking vendors not to send bills until after the midterm. So in other words, we're talking 90 days plus, ladies and gentlemen. Usually net terms or terms are net 30 with any vendor. I mean, I've been in sales for years, and that's what it was. And the only time it goes outside of that is when you specifically have a customer that says, hey, can we do terms net 45 or something like that? We need a little more time. Can we do that? And then it's always up to the corporate office. Yes, we can do it. No, we can't. If they have a bad history with that customer, usually they won't do it. Okay. But we are talking about over 100 days before anybody can even send a fucking invoice. Now you're talking 100 days plus probably 30, 35 to get paid. Maybe. That's if they're even able to pay you. Now, you guys remember 2024, Kamala Harris, how many billions of dollars did she raise? And she wound up $20 million in the red. I mean, who does that? And she was only the nominee for what, 4 or 5 months, something like. When the hell did Joe drop out? And was it I think it was in April. Wasn't it? Was it April or May or something like that? I know it was in the spring that he dropped out, and then they coronated Kamala for the position. Another DEI hire. Well, just like when she was vice president, the DEI. Even Joe Biden admitted that she was a DEI hire. Isn't that amazing? According to the New York Times, the bookkeeping maneuver, which was described by 3 people briefed on it, is the latest sign of financial duress for the Democrat National Committee and its embattled leader as money troubles threaten to undercut Democratic momentum. There is no Democrat momentum. Bullshit. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about right here. There's no momentum. The only momentum is a figment of everybody's imagination because of the propaganda that's coming out of the fucking liberal media. Eat shit. There's no momentum. These guys are completely screwed. At the center is Ken Martin, the 53-year-old party chairman who has found himself increasingly isolated, gripped by the fear that he will lose his job and relying on a vanishingly small circle of people he trusts, according to interviews with more than 24 Democrats, including current and former DNC officials and members. Now, I understand why. the New York Times came out with this story. I think the New York Times and the Democrat Party wants to part ways with Ken Martin. That's what I think is going on here. But boy, I'll tell you, this just shows you how desperate they are for the midterms. The Democrat Party, they need these midterms. They've got to get Trump out of office, or at least shut his ass down. Right now, the courts are doing it for him, and they're not doing it very well. They're not winning every case against Trump. Mr. Martin's fraying nerves are showing. In a peak of frustration in early July, he threw his phone at the desk of a junior aide while upbraiding that person, whatever the hell that means, berating. I think that's a misprint. The phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's Human Resource Department. But that's not all. Paranoia has also infected the building. Martin is scared that his own party is launching a coup against him. Folks, like I just said, that explains why the New York Times has come out with this story. Despite how challenging the end of our endeavor would be, Mr. Martin has taken making macabre jokes to colleagues about how long he will remain in his post, even though his term does not end until 2029. Now, if he's under contract and they get rid of him, that means that they would have to pay him out the balance of his contract, and it doesn't sound like they have the money to do it. He confronted the party's finance director this spring over what he thought was a budding coup. And before he met with top congressional Democrats, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York and Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, in mid-July, assurances were given to an ally of Mr. Martin's that the two party leaders did not plan to use the gathering to call for the chairman's resignation. Mr. Martin was elected last February to a 4-year term by the roughly 450 members of the DNC, and only a vote of the membership itself could push him out. Martin is also fretting about numerous leaks within the DNC. Earlier this year, he blasted his staff for leaking to reporters just how bad things were inside the party headquarters. It pisses me off. This is him. Pisses me off when I see leaks out of this building, Martin Elish. No more of that shit. No more. Now, here's the kicker to all of this, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrat National Committee right now is putting up its headquarters as collateral for it says a massive $15 million loan ahead of the 2026 midterms. That $15 million is paltry. That's nothing. That's nothing. How much advertising is that going to buy for anybody? Not much. Not much. The cash-strapped Democrat National Committee has put its own Washington, D.C. headquarters up as collateral to secure a massive $15 million loan as the party struggles financially ahead of the critical 2026 midterm elections. According to the newly reported D.C. deeds records detailed by Notice, the DNC put its physical headquarters in Southeast Washington, partially owned by the committee, up as security for the loan it took out last year. The DNC secured the $15 million line of credit in October 2025 to help finance off-year elections and prepare for the 2026 midterms. It was reportedly the largest off-year loan in the committee's history. Federal Election Commission records confirm the DNC received $15 million in loans during the current election cycle. The committee's credit agreement describes a secured revolving credit facility with Amalgamated Bank. But the DNC did not explicitly identify its headquarters as collateral in its monthly or loan-related filings with the FEC. So this news broke. Now, they didn't report that they were using its headquarters as collateral. God damn, folks, that is huge. That is fucking enormous. They are putting up their headquarters for a $15 million loan, and right now they are $2 million in the red. Could you imagine if they lose their freaking headquarters? Oh, my God. As of June 30th, the DNC reported approximately $16.3 million in cash on hand and more than $18.5 million in debts and loans. So they're $2 million down. Unbelievable. Republican National Committee, meanwhile, reportedly has $128 million in cash and no outstanding debts. Folks, this whole idea that the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for the Republican Party, the only way, and I've said this 1,000 times before about holding majorities for the Republican Party in either house really doesn't matter, because you have assholes like Murkowski, and you got guys in Congress like Don Bacon, and you know what I mean. There's just so many of them that are not truly Republicans. But I'll tell you right now, if the Democrats take over control of either house, if they take over control of the House and leave control with the Senate, Trump is going to be a lame duck. If they take over both houses, it's very likely Trump will wind up going to prison, because that's what Democrats want to do. They want to throw him in prison. They don't care. Anyway, so the Democrat Party is completely screwed right now. I don't know if they'll ever come out of this. And now you also have the advent of the Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA, in New York, and even guys like Hakeem Jeffries are stepping out against the DSA. They don't want anything to do with this, and I don't think ideologically they are all cut from the same cloth. But the DSA is just so openly communist that the rest of the Democrat Party, even though they are openly communist, they don't want anything to do with the idea or the propaganda, the weight of that propaganda of calling the entire Democrat Party communist. We already know, but these Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries have come out against the DSA. And even, did you know that even the DSA has said, because Hakeem Jeffries, if the Democrat Party can win in November in the House, Hakeem Jeffries was in line to become Speaker of the House. That's who the Democrats wanted. You remember what's her face there, the Attorney General of New York? Why can't I think of her name? The fat girl there, the one that the mortgage fraud girl. I can't think of her name, but whatever. She was screaming, we're waiting for the day that Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House and all that. But now with the DSA gaining traction in states across the country and within Congress, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. There are people that are coming out against him that he's not radical enough, is really what it comes down to. And they're saying that about a lot of Democrats, guys like Chuck Schumer, the old school guys, the old guard. They want to get rid of them now. They want all of these fresh-faced idiots like AOC, who doesn't know shit from Shinola. They like those kinds of people. And, the sad thing is you've got the voting base out there that just loves her. She's just so goddamn stupid. She really is. Just an idiot. Anyway, folks, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed putting this one together. This was a lot of fun. I really did. I had a lot of fun with this, and especially this DNC story is just so big. It's so big. The Democrat Party is screwed. They are in so much trouble right now. So much trouble. So this, if you're a conservative like me, you believe in limited government, you believe in, I guess, just small government, non-liberal policy. This should actually warm your heart right here. This story about the DNC and the Democrat Party being broke. It certainly does mine. So I'm pretty happy about it. Anyway, folks, I will be back on Wednesday. I'll have another show for you Wednesday at noon. Please share this with your buddies, your friends, your family. If you enjoyed the show, leave me a comment too. I would appreciate it. Now, I think I told you when I came out with my first one back about a week or so ago that I was going to start doing this on Substack instead of doing it on Rumble. I was not getting anywhere on Rumble. It was just so frustrating. But anyway, I'm out here on Substack now. I appreciate you being here with me today. Thank you so much. And we will see you on Wednesday. You guys have a good one from Damn Straight Media.